Hello and welcome to Priority Parenting Session 9. Oh, it's been a long journey when we started with, I think over the few sessions, the content has become very mature. I like your comments, I like your feedbacks. And one of the father came and said that these are certain topics I would be very uncomfortable talking or hearing. And I'm so glad that these capsules are helping me relate to it to my children as they're growing up. So thank you very much for your feedback and comment, and hopefully I'll keep hearing you more often. What did we do last session? Oh, we put faith first in our last session. We looked at a lovely family that lets faith grow within it, and we used the Denzel Washington comment, put God first. Believe me, two of the greatest gifts that you've got is your trust in God, an invisible force that guides you to the path of righteousness, and your children who are, believe me, the biggest blessings you can get. So where do we go from our faith-based injunction to something about human emotions? Today's session is about father and daughter relationship, and I say so with more pride that because I'm growing up with three of my young girls and I know how much I need this lesson more than anybody else. We always thought understanding women was complex. Imagine that old Mel Gibson starrer What Women Want, and that amazing ability to hear the women's thought and feeling. Believe me, if you thought that was complex and that was the ultimate area of human emotion, you don't even understand him. Him is as complex as her. And I'll give you a case, a small insight into what a wife thinks about her husband. This wife says that my husband was bona fide eccentric. He hated to travel and loved spending hours banging around in woods. So he would be going and his axe and he'll cut things around. He would be, he would be biking, hiking, cross country, skiing, canoeing, running, and he would be different. So she said that after marriage, I was, sure that I wanted some of my husband's habit to change. And then one, he exercised too much. Another, he spent too much time at home catching up on work. And then she started saying the first 10 years of my marriage, I studied him. She's a scientist. And then I made a list of things he need to change. The next 10 years of the marriage, she started saying, okay, don't make all the changes, just make the things you need to change. The next 10 years, she said, okay, instead of you changing, I'll change myself to suit your needs. Alright, this isn't just, him is just as complex as her, and all we need to identify is few internal passions that drive our behavior and that can dramatically alter the way we live. What we are trying to do is, as fathers, you will have to understand your daughter's emotions. They are overflowing with impulses, and if they act towards the impulses, there will be self-destruction. So our session number 9 it says, teach her to fight. You need to teach your daughter to stand up on her feet and give back to the world what the world says. I don't mean to make them Mary Kom and Laila Ali. These are some of the great sports stars and boxing champions. And you see, boxing will be my metaphor for entire session today. What I really want them to do is at least stand up, because there's a quote I heard which says, the world is an echo. The good, the bad, the ugly. So give the world the best you have and the best gets back to you. I want our daughters to know that they have to stand up and fight for their rights. Today, with the kind of women in the workforce, from Sandy Shelberg to Indrani Noori, the CEO of PepsiCo, I think women are taking great strides. So we need to tell our daughters there is a world out there for them to conquer. And who better to tell this advice than this lovely quote? I don't know why I picked up this, but it's so beautiful, where Ned Stark says, war was easier than daughters. Oh, believe me, Ned Stark's a good father, and the Game of Thrones fan will attest to it, with Sansa Stark and Arya Stark, some of the favorite characters. He's a good father. He gave morals to his children. It could be even Robb and Brandon and Rickon and the quintessential Jon Snow. But then he said, growing of fathers, I would rather go to battles besides. And Arya Stark, she had something amazing ability, but this is what fathers are, and we fathers are all Ned Starks. So what do we do? Where do you start with? Rule number 1 is, from the moment your daughter starts thinking about what she wants, you need to challenge her thinking and question her behavior. So that by the time she's a teenager, she naturally comes to you and asks, Dad, is it what I really want to do? But what do you think I should do? My goodness, I want to tell you, it's called train her early. Training her early really is something where you keep questioning and challenging so that the relationship is born. Unfortunately, most of us, what we do is we challenge our girls when they are teenagers, when they are post-puberty, and that's the most inconvenient time to confront a girl. Believe me, I'm raising 3 of them. So now the rule number 1 is you set the limits early on. You take your daughters with you. You drive with them. You share how much you love your mother. One of the things I see fathers so reluctant is they have never hugged or kissed their wives in front of the children, especially the daughters. Why? I mean, I would love to express my affection to my wife in front of the least of the unsuspecting people, my own girls. They need to know how much I love my wife, and it could be carrying her around, it could be hugging her, it could be dancing with her, but show your girls how much you love the most important girl in your life. That's your spouse. So do that early, because teenagers are driven so much by the feelings than by reason, and they will drop all reason by the time college starts. And college is a completely new game. You have no idea what's going to happen in college. College impulses, when she's older, her emotions will evaporate. I'm keep telling you. So you watch her like a hawk. Yeah, I mean what I'm saying. I mean, a father, I don't want you to have CCTV cameras and include on a Facebook live, but you need to be there for your child. The child needs you. You owe it to her, because when she'll be older, college will be such a new challenge, and you have no idea what happens on college campuses these days. Believe me, if you thought partying was great in your time at school and college, you'll probably be shocked at the current moral climate of the campus today. That's what's happening. I'm sorry to use the language, but that's the best part of these sessions. I can tell you things. In the University of Michigan, during orientation, all freshmen were instructed that they could receive 7 condoms per week for free. After that, they had to pay. 7 per week free? I'm sorry, this language is tough, and I hope this is not the moral level that I want my children to go to, but that's what the fact is. That's the research. And I'm quoting the lady Meg Meeker in her book, Strong Fathers, Strong Daughters. This is not my words. This is not mind you. I'm telling you that you need to be there when they will grow up. In fact, the FIFA World Cup happening in Russia, or currently in 2022, I think, or after the Qatar, or in 2018, that's when the discussion is the highest flow of these contraceptives are going to given to every athlete. We are looking at sex and alcohol and drugs, and this is the world our kids are going to. The game in college is a tough game, and that is when you will have to be very, very clear, because you will see there will be suspension of emotions, and emotions will drive her suspension of willpower. So in college, in high school and college, she'll be buying the whitening strip for teeth, color her hair over and over again, spend a fortune on haircuts, may even want plastic surgery. What are you going to do? How are you going to talk to them? And that's when you need strong language and strong daughters to talk to. You have to be very clear where you need to be. So one of the second things I share with you is be her ally. Be her friend. Be her. I love this lovely thing. Who needs Santa when I have my daddy? Teach her that superficial women feel and respond, but you want her to have emotional connection and intellectual wisdom, the physical strength and the mental power. None of this can happen without her developing a mind and disciplining her will. I repeat, none of this can happen without developing her mind and disciplining her will, and that is when you come in. You, the father, come in. And then what happens? You must clarify your morals without any apologies. Your morals are important. Honesty, respect, kindness, chastity. These are morals you want your daughter to have. Friendship. You want your daughters to know what's right and what's wrong. Be clear about what you say and what you expect. You see, mixed messages don't stand a chance. Having too many choices sometimes overwhelms all kids. More so the daughter who's growing up, popping emotions. The estrogens are popping from all over her body. So while your daughter might say she wants more choices, she can't handle the choices. I'll give you a tough case study, because that's what we all remember, isn't it? We remember the case studies. There is this girl called Andrea. She was 18 years old, a senior in high school, and she was ready to graduate in 2 months' time. So her parents left her for the weekend for 2 days all alone with another cousin of her. Now, Andrea and her cousin decided it's great to be alone and let's have some party around. So Andrea calls her cousin's best friend, a guy named Rob, and now they party around, they are drunk, they do some drug. At the end of the day, the boy was so drunk he fell down the staircase, he broke the entire television set, there was a tossing medicine all around, and finally the window broke, a fire broke out, the cops came in, the kids were all scattered. Andrea was afraid, father and mother had to come all the way, there was a breath analyzer test done, and now she and her friends have a police record. Her school found out, she was kicked out of the track and sports and track team. Her graduation, which is about to happen, did not happen. And all that happened, she started her freshman year on probation. Her parents shouldn't have left her alone in the first place. Andrea was too good, too nice to be left alone. Bottom line is this. You remember what I'm saying? Andrea was too nice a girl to be left alone. Too nice a girl to be made, to given choices for her. Please don't give the choices when they can't make the choices. So what do you want the girls to do? They want the man in their life. And why don't you be the man in their life? They want conviction and they want leadership. And as fathers, that's the best thing you can give your girls. They want to see a conviction in the words you speak. They may not like you, but believe me, they'll turn around and come and say, look lad, thank you so much for being there. And then they want that leadership that only you can give. And yes, be very, very savvy in the battles you choose. Choose your battles wisely. We said boxing is right. So if her food choices, her hairstyle, her taste in music annoys you, let it go. They aren't the part of the bigger game unless they are a bigger problem. But an eating disorder, hanging out is not a problem. Save the energy for bigger issues that you need to focus on. Honesty, integrity, courage and humility. Your battles are very important. Let me give you one more case study, and I call case study this one the Barbie syndrome. So what's the Barbie syndrome? So there was this lovely girl, and she was the connoisseur. She was the apple of her father's eye. She looked like a baby even when she grew up with her father's arm, until the father sent her to college. And when she went to college, the father separated from the mother. So remember, the problems confronted. One day they were having dinner together, and the father looked at her, and she was completely pale. She was malnutrition. She was what is it? Anorexia. That's what she was having. The father said, "Don't you ever eat?" The father was worried. The daughter has an eating disorder, and the daughter said, "Dad, what happened? Are you crazy? All my friends call me ugly, and if I lost a few pounds, maybe some guys will come and ask me out. And I can't stop feeling all about myself when I go around." And the father said, "Thank you, but that thought is not you." Look at the father, look at the conviction. The father is not arguing. He said, "Just that, my little darling, that's not you. It's not the disease, it's a disease I'm talking about, it's in your head. Can you push it around? It'll kill you. Honey, these are voices in your head, they are wrong." And the daughter looked frustrated, but she didn't argue. In her heart, she knew the father was right. She trusted him. He was smart. He was kind. Even if he made some really big mistakes, like leaving the mother, he was her dad. And at 22, she listened to the father. She kept saying to herself, because my father believes I'm beautiful, I am beautiful. And you know what happened next? They just waited. And every day, the father will appreciate the way they are, the beauty that she was having. And one fine day, father comes and she says, Dad, thank you so much for just letting me be who I want to be. I just wanted to be sexy for my kids, but today the word is so misused. The word sexy means cool, pretty, shiny, glamorous. It's just okay. It's not the way you and I heard it. And that's what our girls want to be. Teach her once in a while that modesty can be attractive too. Modesty is about self-respect. Modesty is about themselves. Tell her that the cosmetic company doesn't have the best interest in mind. The clothing companies don't have. The Vogues and the Cosmopolitan magazines don't have. You have. And she'll love you for that. So in the end, all I want to share with you is the resource I want to give you. Again, about Dr. Meg Meeker's book, Be the Hero in the Life. You want that strong father, that you want conviction and leadership in your child's life. And believe me, you will get a great child as you end. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy these sessions. I hope you benefit as a father and I hope you benefit as a family. Good day. Bye bye.